Continuation of the restraints. So there are physical as well as chemical restraints. Physical restraint should be used only when the patient is a danger for himself or others, and when all other behavior management have been exhausted, then we can use physical restraint. But our duty is what we should do. The obligation. What is our obligation? We have to take care it very carefully in order to prevent the negative consequences of the restraint. That is the main thing we have to keep in mind. So next is chemical restraints. It is by giving psychoactive pharmacological agents. So it is prescribed with caution and only when for the clear benefit of the patient. So that is about restraint. And next is do not resuscitation order or DNR. So DNR are legal and binding, but must be justified as client request or be medically indicated. So do not resuscitation order is an order which clearly stating that if an emergency comes, we should not resuscitate the patient or in any way to survive or save his life. So when DNR order is made, the supporting documentation should be there. That means the client's current condition, the prognosis, the summary of decision making, as well as who was involved in this. All these documentation should be clearly stated. Otherwise, legal issues will come. So withholding as well as withdrawing treatment, that also can be done by the person if he is able to take his decision. It includes actions related to client's right to refuse treatment or withdraw consent from it. Assisted suicide as well as euthanasia. This we are just studying. This is not practiced nowadays. It's illegal in most of the countries. So these are grave decisions or bad decisions. Certainly do not provide medication to hasten death in a patient. So we should not do any treatment for a patient who is leading to death. So ensure that the elderly person has complete information when asked or asked to make a decision regarding healthcare. Even the medications can be given in order for the patient to lead to death. Sometimes medications can be given, sometimes no medications can be given, so that it can lead to death. That is assisted suicide as well as euthanasia. Coming to the legal issues. So act of negligence, malpractice and omissions. These are the main legal issues. Act of negligence, malpractice as well as omission. So negligence means it is a failure to exercise adequate care. We are neglecting the person's care. Malpractice, it is a negligence on the part of a professional person in providing care to another person. A healthcare worker is not providing healthcare properly to a person, that is malpractice. 4 condition, a duty to client is not being done, failure to meet that duty, an injury or negative outcome caused by not meeting that duty, actual harm or damages suffered by the person who is receiving the care. So a duty is there for a person, that person is not doing his duty properly, so it will lead to injury of the receiver, then it is a malpractice. Act of negligence continuation. Next one is omission. So it occurs when something omit, that is ordered or expected to do. Something is ordered or expected to do, but we have not done that. So the rights of the elderly are abused when the family does not give them adequate care as well as attention. That is an omission. Okay, these are things are self-explanatory. And a type of omission is tort. Tort means an action that leads to injury. So intentional torts. So acts by a nurse performed with the intent to bring about a specific result. That is a tort. So torts, intentional tort are of 2 types, assault as well as battery. Assault means an attempt or threat to injure another person. So battery means unwanted or unconsented physical contact, that is battery. So what do you mean by tort? Tort is an action that can lead to injury of the person. So here a nurse is performing actions to the elderly person that will result in harm to the person. It is divided into two types, assault as well as battery. What is assault? Assault means an attempt or threat to injure another person. Battery means what? Unwanted physical contact that will lead to again harm to the person or injury. And defamation. So defamation means parihasam. So written or spoken communication that holds a person up to ridicule or scorn. Ridicule or scorn means parihasiക്കുക and tends to harm his or her reputation. Two types of defamation are there, libel as well as slander. Libel means written defamation. Slander means spoken defamation. And next one is invasion of privacy. So here the privacy, the person's right to be left alone or to enjoy the reasonable non-interference with his or her life is being violated. Violation of a person's right to be left alone or to enjoy reasonable non-interference with his or her life. That is invasion of privacy. And finally, elder abuse and neglect. So elder abuse we have already studied, so we are not going to see this. You can add points from elder abuse types and all. I just kept. Finally, the abandonment. So abandonment occurs when dependent person or person responsible for care leaves the older person physically, emotionally, and financially defenseless. That is abandonment. So that is all about legal as well as ethical issues. These are things you have to read twice in order to remember the terms and all. So write down these points and read again and again, then only you will be thorough with it. All of a sudden these words you can't grasp and keep in mind, so you have to read it twice now itself, means after the class itself. Okay, thus we have completed this chapter as well as all my portions. So all my portions are completed. So thank you so much for your support, and now we can do some revisions if you want. I don't know when the college will reopen, so let's see what happens. Okay, so have a nice time. Thank you so much.